Good evening, preppers. This is LA Prepper, and saw an article that caught my eye. Venezuela begins power rationing as drought causes severe outages. So it looks like they're having issues with some of their hydroelectric generation because the levels in some of their lakes, or reservoirs rather, are a bit low. Of course, Venezuela's having food shortages as well, so this is definitely not helping matters. As far as my own personal electric preps, at the end of the new year, I was all ready to get into some solar stuff. I asked Santa for a little help with an inverter and a charge controller, have my eye on a 100-watt panel, and then I had a couple of expenses. One was kind of planned, one was sort of less planned, and so my savings kind of went out of whack. And long story short, I have not purchased a solar panel that I planned on purchasing, but stories like this really make me think about it. Now, in SoCal, we do have outages. They typically don't last more than a couple of days because, of course, Californians are crazy, and if they didn't have power, world would turn into Mad Max in a few days. So, the power company does a pretty decent job getting the power back on here quickly because, unlike in the north when there's big crazy storms and you're physically limited from driving through the snow or whatnot to get to where you're trying to fix stuff. Most of the time in California, it might just rain or it might be a bad windstorm or something, but the next day or even the same day, you're still able to kind of go physically out there and you're not fighting the inclement weather too much. At least not, for days and days on end. Usually a storm will come by for a couple days and then it's kind of quiet. Whereas in the north, you can have like a few weeks where it's just awful, right? So just kind of a interesting look at another country really struggling. People in Venezuela, they're really having a rough time of it the last year. So they got hyperinflation issues, they got food issues, energy issues, crime issues, just a whole host of issues that are really crappy. And of course, this is causing them to flee the country in quite large numbers and spill out into their neighboring countries. So the neighboring countries are now having to, deal with this struggle that Venezuela is having to keep, society functioning at some modicum of normality. But at any rate, and keep this a short video, there's not much you can say. If it doesn't rain and the reservoirs aren't full to run the hydro, then you run a little bit low on power. Rationing is definitely better than a blackout. So I mean, at least they're trying to do something. But until next time, let me know what you think about blackouts in Venezuela and how prepared you are for power shortages in your area. Like, comment, subscribe, and keep prepping.